Hi everyone, Steve Westman. Welcome to the Audio Files. I am excited today. Kevin Gray from Cohearent Records, his first album that he recorded as an engineer and of course mastered on his all-valve recording system from microphone all the way to the cutter head. Kirsten Edkins, Shapes and Sound. I'm going to review this today, but first, if you haven't already, click on that subscription button. It helps me out a ton, guys. I appreciate all of the support with my channel. I promise more great things to come. Now, even better things to come. Let's have a review of Kirsten Edkins and Kevin Gray's Shapes and Sound. I'll see you on the other side of the audio files. "1954 to 1964 might have been the golden age of jazz, but I think now with this album, debut album by Kevin Gray's Cohearent Records, 2023 is the new golden age of jazz. Now, this album was recorded on an all-valve system from all the way from the microphone to the cutter head, designed by Kevin Gray. It took him well over 17 years, and he did all the recording in his living room for this album and really wanted to have sort of that live feel to it, to record it. And I will go through a couple of the tracks that I really enjoyed from this album. But I do want to say that, the valve mastering console that he used as a custom line amplifier, equalizers, switches, level controls. There was no transistors, no integrated circuits anywhere in the signal path, okay? That, to me, makes it so pure and so whole when you're listening to this album. And then top it off, I did say that Hackensack West is what Kevin is now calling his studio. I think obviously in a joking form, but it is set up a lot like how Rudy Van Gelder set his studio up. Very quaint, not huge, and not a lot of room, but it gives you that sort of the live feel. And there's one microphone for every instrument, so you're really capturing the essence of a live recording. There's not, 2-3 microphones hanging off the piano or a few hanging off the drums and mixing things up. I feel the way this was recorded, and I'll get into this right away, sonically speaking, you are going to be absolutely blown away by what you're hearing. One thing I'll tell you, I'll get into just the album cover first. As you can see, it's a nice gloss. It's got the gatefold here. Move it over on this side. Lovely. And Kirsten, on piano with Kirsten was Gerald Clayton. We had Lamar, Gullery. I'll probably butcher his name, but it's Ahmed Turkmangulu. And then Chris Wabik on drums. Ahmed on bass, stand-up job on bass on this album. You will really, really hear it on this album, and you'll be impressed. There was 8 tracks. Party Slog, Bird Shapes, Dedicated to You, The Goose, Sweet Pickles, Wahoo, Proprietary Minor, and Hula Hoop. Now, of course, Dedicated to You was the only non-original song that wasn't written by Kirsten Edkins, or I believe it was Chris Wabik wrote Hula Hoop. But Kirsten wrote 6 of the 8 songs on this album. Just incredible. All original recordings. Now, what I liked about it too, it's pressed at RTI. You can see here, it has the Cohearent Records label right there. Lovely. Pressed at RTI, quality vinyl. My vinyl was very quiet. I have no complaints about it at all. Absolutely perfect condition when I played it. One of the inserts that it came with, and I get blown away by this, it really detailed everything about the recording process of this album, in the pictures as well. As you can see, where the microphone was placed on the Steinway. I think this is a 7-foot Steinway piano. And then of course you can see the recording studio itself in Kevin's living room. You can see how really quaint it is. I mean, again, a lot like Rudy Van Gelder had it set up, one microphone each, really achieving that live performance. And then on the back here, you'll see his Neumann lathe and Studer tape recorder, and then I like too the recording details of it, and I'll get into that as well. But all in all, really well done, an incredible debut album by Kevin Gray. 1,250 were printed. I believe they're all accounted for as of this video. I know there's going to be another 1,250 on its way, so if you haven't ordered, get going on that. I believe Acoustic Sounds, their website, you can order on Acoustic Sounds for now. So I'd highly recommend it for, what is it, $30, $28. I mean, it's well worth it. Now, getting back to the music, just so everyone knows, I grew up, of course, listening to music, and grew up playing guitar in high school, did musical theater, was a lead in plays when I was younger, played trombone throughout high school, played guitar. So, I mean, have a little bit of, nothing like these guys, but I mean, I do have appreciation for music and appreciation for creativity. So when it comes to this album, comes to Kirsten Edkins and some of the original material, maybe this album is what Kind of Blue will be like 50 years from now, the way we're listening to it today. I mean, I just love the originality, the liveness, the cohesiveness of the band, Ahmed's bass, and of course the way Kevin recorded it. You'll hear Kirsten sax in the left channel, you'll hear the trombone in the right channel. You won't have the drums overpowering it all, and when they are there, they're very soft and very subtle. And of course, you got Lemar Gullery's trombone, mostly in the left channel. But it all in all, it's just, and you have the piano of Gerald Clayton. It just comes together in the cohesiveness of this album, and of course the sound, because the way it was recorded and the way the way it was mastered. This is, I feel, a masterpiece, and this isn't me trying to get on Kevin's good side. This is just truly, as a music enthusiast, how I'm feeling right now about this album. And I have played it. Now, I have played it 10 times per side since I received it, so I've got a really good feel of it. I didn't want to do this video before I had a good feel of this album, and I'm super impressed with it. So a couple of my songs that I really enjoyed from this album, Party Slug. Now, Party Slug, really enjoyed Kirsten's sax on this one. It was strictly on the left speaker, the left channel. Really had a nice cohesive feel to it. The whole band really played in sync. There was nothing overpowering on the instruments. No, not one instrument you felt like, oh my gosh, there's just too much of this or too much of that. It truly was really well done. And the music being original, I think you need to let your ears be the judge. But Party Slug, one that I feel will could be a classic years to come. And of course the old but faithful, Dedicated to You. Again, you're going to hear all the instruments, and they're nicely balanced. Nothing's really panned or anything like that. Microphones were placed in one area for the drums, and of course their piano, and for the sax, and for the trombone. And I love the way Kevin engineered it to make it sound the way it does on that song. And then lastly, I really enjoyed the song, and you'll see it here, Sweet Pickles, another original song by Kirsten. I felt that, man, Chris Wabick's drums were so smooth and so in rhythm, and really didn't overpower the song at all. The trombone was hard right on it, and of course Kirsten sax hard left, with the bass coming through the middle. Really had that live feel to it. This whole album had that live feel to it. So if you want to experience incredible, original jazz live, but on an actual record, you got to pick this up. Kevin Gray knocked this out of the park. This was a grand slam in my opinion, just based on the packaging, based on the quality of the recording, of course, an all-valve recording. And I love the details too, and I was going to mention that as well. He even included recording details here as well, which I really enjoy, being a little bit of a nerd when it comes to this. He basically tells us what microphones were used for each instrument. He talks about Cohearent 8-in and 2-out mixer, right directly to the Studer C37 stereo recorder. I mean, he goes into it and says that it's all fed into a custom mastering console connected to Cohearent's cutting electronics, featuring a Macintosh MI315 cutting amplifier, and of course, the electronics are all valve throughout. And again, nice little insert here with all the instruments, as you can see, and how it was set up for when it was recorded. So yeah, I like this album. There's a lot of reasons I like it from a sonic perspective, as just sounds so natural. The original recordings are fresh, and if you're a jazz enthusiast, you're gonna own this. If you're not, I think pick it up and just listen to it and appreciate it for how it was recorded and envision how it was recorded, and you'll really appreciate what Kevin Gray and his team did, and of course with Kirsten Edkins and her group did. You can't go wrong, guys. Pick it up. We'll see you again on the Audio Files.